What's up, Soul Fam? How are ya? Welcome back to my channel, Spirit to Daosith. I'm Daosith. I hope all of you beautiful souls out there are doing great wherever you are in the world. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your beautiful and busy day to watch this video, and I hope it resonates with you. And if it doesn't, just leave it. These just happen to be my truths and mine alone. They don't have to be yours. But if you like it, please follow, subscribe, and check out my other social media platforms where I'll put in the description box below. So today's video, we're doing the energy update for January 2023. So happy new year to all of you. Hopefully this is a fresh start, new beginnings for many of you that are looking for that. And I want to wish you all a year full of happiness, health, prosperity, and purpose as you go forward, because that's going to be really powerful energy to carry forward, especially as we come out of the December 2022 energy that went out with a bang, right? That really wrapped up the harmony energy that we had for last year. And I can tell you, in my perspective, that December went out with a bang. There was so much that came up individually, but also collectively, that kind of was in alignment with a lot of things I talked about in the December energy update. If you weren't paying attention to the news, here are a few things that really came about that I think was important in alignment with the things I was talking about. We had the union breakdown with the rail workers, right? Really putting pressure on our relationship with collective groups and social groups, and putting pressure on the supply chain and in government, and how that reflected mirrored back things about us individually. We also had the World Cup, right? A collective agreement with us in a broader sense, our country battling things out for winners and losers and etc. Right? That was interesting to see play out in the collective. We had volcanic eruptions all over the place, but in particular, the volcanic eruptions happening in Hawaii, partly because that is, to me, the heart chakra of the earth. And when you have volcanic eruptions, that usually, to me, deals with kind of like anger and explosions and just things coming into the surface and exploding out. So you can kind of put your 2 cents into that and feel what the collective was going through at that time, and seeing why perhaps there was a coincidence, if there is such a thing, of why there was volcanic eruptions happening in the heart chakra in Hawaii. We had the FTX financial fraud, right? And the CEO and billions of dollars disappearing, and what actually happened there. We had the $1.7 trillion Senate bill that was just passed here in the US, and what that kind of portrayed, and how people have been responding to that. Also, a very cool and very ominous symbol, or sign going forward, was that in December, there was an ultra rare white bald eagle that was discovered. And typically what that has been said by many cultures, whether it be maybe Indian cultures or even like Buddhist cultures, the symbol or the sign of a white animal is typically an indication of great change and turmoil that is upon you. And the fact that it was the white bald eagle, I wonder what that means for the US. What does that mean for the United States of America in a time that signifies great turmoil, great changes that are upon us with regards to this particular thing that showed up? So be very interesting. Be interesting to see what you guys think about that as well. Also, big disclosure. How about the Twitter files that came out, and how information was repressed and people were blocked, and the bots and all that kind of stuff? If you haven't been paying attention to that, I think it's really something that for many of you guys to look at, because that really is talking about free speech, etc., and how groups of people were censored etc. I think that was really something powerful that came out in December. And lastly, lots of people that I know and what I've seen collectively via car crashes, etc. Death was certainly a theme with regards to closing things out. And one of the most predominant one, which is exactly happened on 12/31, right? New Year's Eve. On 12/31, Pope Benedict XVI died. Okay, I'm not a very religious person in that particular religion itself, but that to me is a very interesting coincidence. The fact that he was the 16th Pope, or Pope Benedict the 16th, is in alignment with kind of moving into the 2023, because 2023 is a numerology of a 7, and obviously 16 breaks down to a 7 as well. So lots of crazy stuff happening in December, and carrying that energy into 2023 is what we're going to see for January for sure, because the numerology for January is a 1. Ones are usually related to new beginnings, fresh starts, new cycles, new shifts, right? And on a new path or new paradigms and new perspectives, etc. And when we deal with the overall energy of the year, which is a high vibrational energy of 7, 7s are usually around truth, usually about understanding the etheric end of things, of like speaking your truth or knowing the truth, or just a high vibration for all of us to integrate with regards to what is true going forward. And people, what I had said in earlier video is that we are going to be dealing with the identity of people fighting for this truth to come out, and then the people who aren't willing to see the truth about themselves and about the collective, that are going to shift and change paradigms. So we got new beginnings, we got truth numerology coming up that's probably going to shift things around. And then what you deal with is a combination of the two, which is bringing out a numerology of an 8. 8 is about manifesting. 8 is about finances and monies and good and services. And this will be highlighted in this month as we go forward. The new beginnings, the truth aspect, and the impact it will have on our finances, our home life, the physical aspects of our life, that's going to be brought out in this month for us to integrate, to see the truth about ourselves, to see the truth about the collective, to shift things forward for us in a better alignment for more health, joy, peace, and awareness as we go forward. So expect mix-ups in your finances, in your financial situations this month. This will be hard, and it will certainly highlight some difficult parts to our realities that will emphasize the hidden aspects to you. Because like I said in a previous video I did recently about money talk with my great soul sister and actual sister, Kate LeMay, money just magnifies and multiplies the things that we are holding on through the energetic concept of money. So money is going to come into play to help us see something about ourselves, and the truth of it needs to be integrated where we're going to shift and move things around. So this will certainly create scenarios through money, through the relationship of money, through new beginnings, through the truth, to see those things so that we can shift in general for our highest good. Now, the astrology events that will aid the things that I'm talking about here is that we are coming into January. We're kind of going to have a slow, sluggish start because we have a few planets in retrograde. So there's a little bit of this sluggish movement, and there's going to be some nebulous muddiness to kind of clear out and work through. That's going to bring us into the full moon in Cancer. This is an inward energy. This is dealing with the home life. This is dealing with our emotions. This is dealing with the aspects of our household. And what you are holding on to will ultimately be brought up, and friction will be brought up through conflict to help you see the truth, to help you transmute an aspect of you, to help you bring a truth out that needs to be brought out so that you can move and shift into a different direction. All right. Some of the things that are going to help you in that new direction is coming into Mars going direct in Gemini on in the middle of the month, around the 12th. That's going to offer you some forward movement, forward momentum. And that would be a really good time to really work on your goals and your ambitions, right? This is alignment with the numerology of the one. It's going to give you some push and some energetic shove to get you going towards your goals and to shift things around and making sure that you are passionate and ambitious about the things that you want to get done. Also, what's going to aid this too is Mercury is going to go direct in Capricorn on the 18th of this month, and you're going to have more clarity. You're going to have more forward direction. It's going to emphasize the Mars going direct energy, and this is going to offer some more rewards and earthly materials and help you with your determination towards your goals, because we're dealing with Capricorn. So Capricorn's around the money, around I would say the reward, around kind of this their celebrity ego aspect to them. Okay, and that's going to come right into the new moon in Aquarius energy. This is really about dreaming. This is about future outlook for you and for everyone else, really pushing you out of your comfort zone to build upon new ideology, to build upon new ideas and things that are for the betterment of yourself and for the household or for the collective as you go forward. Another thing that's going to aid this energy is the Uranus goes direct in Taurus. This is more direct energy to move you towards forward movement, right? Alignment with the numerology of the one. This is really where you're going to see kind of this, like, you can't go back energy. You need to take where you are and kind of go forward, right? You're going to clear, remove, and release attachments so that you can go forward in better alignment and more joy, peace, and happiness and towards your goals. So all these astrological things are going to highlight a lot of this forward momentum. But for you to get forward momentum, you're going to need to see the things that no longer serve you, that are hidden from you. You're going to really need to deal with some of those things, release attachments, and to work through those things and towards your goals. And you'll see things may shift in ways that you never thought that they were going to work out. And so don't get too tied up to form. That's part of attachments. Don't get too tied up to form. Be open to what happens as we move through this month, and you'll have an easier time as we transition a very difficult energy of the numerology of 7. All right. So the energy that's the overall kind of several overall energies that is playing out this month is, the first is the idea of the transformation of the divine feminine energy this month. Okay, this artistic and constant movement in the mind and visionary and passion. The idea of the divine feminine is going through a transformation. So I want you to imagine the infinity symbol here, and as you move around the infinity symbol, it's like, it's constant, it's always going. And what's happening is that the place where we are moving into is this node, right? This node, we are closing out 1 year, we're moving into the center node, and we are moving into the next part of our spiral, if you will. That's kind of what we're seeing. We're transmuting, we're transforming, we're coming into the center node only to be expressed into a new form as we go around the other end of the infinity curve. So I feel like for many females that are listening to this, you are going to be going through something. You're going to be going through some transformation in your lives, and especially in the way that you think, in the way that you behave, in the things that you have allowed, and you can finally see why you've held on to them, why you keep doing these things, and you're going to realize that they no longer serve you through the truth aspects that are coming up this month to help you shift and go through a new spiritual growth. So this is in alignment with the 7s. This is in alignment with the 1, and it could be highlighted in your reality with money as you go forward, saying this is really highlighting the things that no longer serve you, or the things that really make you frustrated. Or it could be on the other end, that the money aspect is really highlighting the things that are for your highest good. But for you to get to that, you need to release and transform and go through some closing out in your other world, old you, before you get to the new you. Okay, and to do that, you're really going to need to sit. And this is kind of like the high priestess energies coming in here. You really need to sit, and you need to go within to get your wisdom this month. It's going to be a very powerful way for you to maneuver these times, these turbulent times, these very uncertain times, especially around the full moon and the new moon energies this month. You're going to need to see beyond the surface. You're going to need to see the hidden messages. What are the lessons that are coming up? And to see the truth of why they are coming up, right? This is in alignment with the 7 and having the truth come out. So many of you guys, before you speak, before you do, listen to yourself a little bit. Trust that thing within you. Trust that energy, the spirit within you, to help you see and cut through some of the noise, right? This is especially true going forward for the rest of the year. You're going to need to have discernment beyond the logical mind to understand the truth and how it serves you and the collective going forward. Because the news, especially around the news and the mainstream media, you're going to have difficulty navigating that and holding yourself at a boundary when they're just going to try to bombard you with all sorts of nonsense, fear, agendas that doesn't serve you for your highest good. All right, so the high priestess, you spend more time in meditative state, spend more time this month thinking and filtering through your energetic system, listening to the voice within before you decide to take action, okay? The theme also for this month is the idea of, which is in alignment with the numerology of the 1 and the new beginnings, is this, what are your goals? This is like the New Year's resolutions that we're talking about. You're really going to need to set your goals for the year. What are you looking to do for yourself? What are you going to allow for yourself? What ways are you really going to step out of your comfort zone to help you achieve your goals? This is going to be a good time, especially with the new moon in Aquarius and the direct energy that's coming up of the Mars and Mercury, and as well as Uranus going direct. This is really going to be a good time to really set some concrete goals and to go forward with those goals, right? So this vision and goals need to remain strong. It needs to remain resilient. It needs to have some level of self-reliance built within it too. You can't just rely on other people all the time to do things and be dependent on them. These goals that you're working on are really going to have to be about you pushing yourself beyond, outside of your comfort zone to get to the things that you really want to have occur for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to play small because you're dependent, and that's going to really cause some friction because you're attached to something and the fears associated with that, and you're not going to get forward or get to the place that you want to be by within the year. All right, this is partly because of the divine feminine energy also transforming this month as well. You're going to find a lot of you who are heavily divine feminine energies, you're going to find a lot of things are shifting around, and you're going to have new goals and new desires. And this is part of the change in the visions and the goals that you need to have for yourself, which brings about the change and the transformation of which is occurring this month for many of you, because all your dreams and goals are starting to shift around. All right, and this is going to create a stronger, more balanced divine feminine energy within all of you and within yourselves as you go forward. A lot of the transformation, and this is one of the themes that's coming out too, a lot of the transformations that many of you are going to go through, or the catalyst for that transformation, is through betrayal, heartache, and suffering, through the relationships that you are in. This is going to come up more and more this month as well through the entirety of the year, because we must see these experiences. We must see the truth of our relationships, whether with others or with ourselves, what our beliefs are, what our relationship are with of lack mentality or self-worth, etc. You have to see these things to be catalyzed towards, to be catalyzed to shift in alignment with new truths. All right, the truth of the people we have trusted in, the truth of the things that we are holding on to, will be brought up through this very conflicting, difficult scenarios that's going to highlight betrayal, heartache, and suffering for us, especially around the full moon and the sluggish beginning of this month. All right, this is a social energy. This is a social energy that's going to be needed to reflect some pain, and how you take that pain, how you respond with that pain, how do you use that pain to transmute or determine your path, how you determine to how you use that pain for action going forward is going to determine the path that you build going forward for the rest of the year. All right, that's why I said the high priestess energy here, you're really, before you take action, you're really going to want to just sit back, listen into the intuitive body, work through that energetic field before you decide to take action. That is going to be vitally important for all of us, especially with discernment, with information, before you take action, so that you can create more timelines with that are in alignment with a higher vibrational experience of joy, happiness, peace, compassion, support. Right? This could play out for many of you guys out in regards to loyalty and work relationships. So we're talking about finances. I talked about the numerology 8. This could play out around work. This could play out with your dynamic with your relationship and money conversations, which bring up huge fights around money and what the money is represents for both you and your significant other, and having truths come up through the money fight. This could play out a lot in the homestead with the family and how you spend money and all these different things. I can certainly see that aspect coming out in January here. Another part of this energy and the betrayal and the suffering, etc., is that when you aren't willing to face the truth, when you aren't willing to feel the things that are coming up, when you aren't willing to accept these things about you, there is going to be kind of this self-destructive path that many of you guys might go down. And it will come up, you will come up to situations that you know aren't for your highest good. You know you shouldn't do it. Like, I really shouldn't eat these kind of things, or I shouldn't kind of delve into alcohol, or I really shouldn't go in towards this relationship where I know it's not good for me. But because you know it's not good for you, you're going to do it anyways. And it's because of the idea that you aren't willing to see the truth about the situation. You are trying to repress something about yourself, or you're doing it out of power and out of lust. Again, it's kind of like this imbalanced aspect to you that's playing out. And what that could mean is that perhaps because of money, it highlights this aspect to you and it only magnifies the things you're holding on to. But because you don't want to feel it, you don't want to face it, you miss the opportunity to learn the lesson through the experience, you don't see the truth, and you don't step into the high priestess type of observation and inward perspective, you're not going to be able to release what needs to be released. And the pain will stay the same and start to become more painful than the actual pain of changing going forward. So this is like the death cycle coming out. This is new beginnings starting to come out. This is the truth of you starting to come out. And I want you to think about this. Like, how many of you have like an emotion that comes up and you don't want to face it? And so instead of facing the emotion, instead of dealing with the emotion, you find a way to scapegoat it onto something else. So maybe you're like me and you want to go towards sugary things. You know you shouldn't eat sugar. You know you shouldn't eat sweet stuff or junk food, whatever it is that you may delve into. And because you know it's not good for you. You know it's bad for your skin. It makes you feel yucky. It just makes you feel gross about yourself. You don't feel good about it, but you do it anyways because you're vulnerable and you don't want to face the things that that are coming up. Then it just spirals into this whole self-destructive mental emotional construct, right? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Or perhaps it's like for many of you who are like, I have this aspect to me and I don't want to face it, but I just want to get rid of it. So that outward expression of that energy is like you try to purge and clean all the time, right? You try to keep your house immaculate and you clean and you throw out things and you go off on this complete tirade, right? Does that sound familiar? That's exactly this desperate state of being that many of you may fall into if you don't face the truth of what's coming up. If you don't face the energy of the new starts and the new beginnings that could be highlighted through the money aspect in your relationship, in the homestead. And it's going to bring up all this energy, this anger issue, the self-loathing, the self-worth issues, the backstabbing, the self-destructive actions that we all know aren't good for us, but we do it anyways because we aren't willing to see the truth about ourselves, right? Okay. The same thing could be said, let's say it's betrayal and heartbreak. What do you do when you feel that heartbreak and pain? What is the truth that's showing up? And then how are you actually dealing with it? That's all the things that are going to be brought up in relationship to this theme this month in the numerology as well as the astrology going forward. So not the easiest month to work with, and we'll see how it plays out with the collective and the news that comes out in the collective. But for sure, for many of you guys, I think the most affected chakra for all of us are going to be around the throat. The throat typically is around speaking the truth, all right? And it represents that etheric energy of wanting to communicate, wanting to be heard, wanting to speak the truth. So you may have some issues around your throat if there's a block. And in this month, so if you experience sore throats, if you experience coughs, or you experience energy blocks in your throat, try to see what truths you are trying to communicate, why you may be having trouble communicating the things that you want to communicate, and what are the things that you're not saying that needs to be said this month that may be affecting your throat chakra. Okay, it's definitely an area of communication, and when it relates to communication, we're talking about others as well. So where in your relationship are you not being heard? Where in your relationship does something need to be spoken and heard for the relationship itself to shift and transmute, especially around things that are hidden, and especially around the money aspect that could be highlighting something that you haven't been willing to see, and pay attention to those self-destructive patterns that may play out for many of you this month. I hope that helps you. Have a beautiful day. If you like what you hear, like I said, follow me and know that I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.